So we're going to cut back to our studio. This is stuff you could do ahead of time, of course, too, but we're going to prep what they gave us with this kit. So we're going to get this fuel filter setup installed. So we're going to tighten up these nuts and bolts here to get this hanger, this mount in place. So we basically get the bottom part of this mount bolted in first, and then here you can see there is an in and an out on this filter that comes with the kit. Same thing here though with these ends. Put a little oil on the O-ring that that goes in. We're going to tighten up both of these right away as well, and put our filter in place. Looks like we got about a 1-inch wrench here that we're going to use to tighten them up. And the outside, you can see, is the green side, so we're going to face that in the right direction here, actually towards the right, which is actually going to be towards the front of the car. The fuel is going to feed in, obviously from the back, and go to the front. So we're tighten that up, and there we go. Now it's all set, and that's ready to go. And where that piece mounts is going to be right here. So we're going to flip this rubber piece around just to give us a little bit of extra room. Those actual lines running right there that are spread apart like that, we're already like that. Shouldn't have to do anything there. But we are going to remove these 3 other bolts that are in place here. And this is a really nice setup. I mentioned it in my other video, but I think it's really nice the way this Radium piece comes with this bracket, so you can just mount this up in place. So here you can see, of course, I already have everything tightened up. But we're going to mount this in place. You can use new screws. I think it came with new screws that I could have put in, but I used the OEM screws / bolts. I just put those, use the OEM ones again. Of course, we're just going to go ahead and tighten those up. Next, working my way back towards the back of the car, I ended up removing these mounts because I thought it would work well to run this fuel line in between some of these other lines that I already ran, and it did end up working pretty good. So that's what I'm going to do. You don't need to do it this way, of course. Even Radium shows where they just kind of zip tie it to that outermost line that's ran. So you can do that if you want, but I'm going to show you how I did it this way. These should come off pretty easily, so you should just be able to get things down out of the way. And again, I'm going to run this fuel line towards the middle portion of this. So we're going to do some modifications here to make it fit. This center piece, actually this plastic piece in the middle here, just kind of pops out. We're going to pop that out because that's going to give us extra room. We don't care about that plastic piece. And then there's actually rubber stuff around it, so that's great. So we want some rubber insulation stuff to hold up our fuel hose that came with our kit. Now moving back another section, same thing here. We're going to pop out this plastic clip that was in here that was not being used. That's going to give us more room for that fuel line. This back most portion, I just ended up chopping it up a bit and just getting that plastic out of the way. This one was a bit of a different style holder. So obviously I just kind of hacked it up here. But you do whatever you need to do if you're running it this way to make room. So now we're going to start feeding up this fuel line. You could see I had the curved part of this line. This is the longer of the 2 lines. And we're going to feed it up, and it is supposed to go kind of on the right side, if you will. It's supposed to circle around the top of the fuel tank. We'll get to that a bit more later once we're towards the top. But there is a certain direction this should run. You kind of want to run it what they would consider clockwise, as in the fuel hose where it connects to the top portion of the fuel hanger, then runs in a clockwise direction, circling around, a quarter of the fuel tank and then back down. But of course, now we're going to run the rest of that line. We're going to keep putting it through where we made the openings for it. Watch for any sharp edges or anything like that. Make sure you don't cut the line, of course. But you should be able to pull it through and run it right up to that fuel filter that we just put in place. So here's a shot showing just where that line ran before I kind of mounted this stuff all back up. Again, if you prefer to just run it along the other outer edge of there, you could do that as well. And it's worth mentioning that you want to kind of make sure that these ends of these fuel lines are like plugged or covered. You don't want to get any debris in the fuel lines. So when you're running them, just have them covered up. So of course, now we're going to put those mounts back in place and bolt everything back up. So for anything that you removed, just go ahead and put it back in place. Well, of course, we'll utilize some zip ties as well to hold that fuel line where we want it. So wherever you feel like you need to add some zip ties, go ahead and do that as well. Now we're going to move towards the front side of the car. We're going to run that shorter line up and through. Basically, the key to this for knowing what side of the line to run where, the straight ends go to the filter. That's always kind of the rule here, I guess, is the straight end of the hose should go to the filter portion. So again, you see we had that covered. Make sure there wasn't any debris getting in there. So we're going to uncover that end. And then again, I recommend always starting these with your fingers because you can kind of screw up the threads on these if you try to force it. So don't use a wrench right away. Try to get it started with your fingers is my recommendation. And here you go. You can see I ran that one up towards the front of the car. Here's our fuel filter and then a couple of zip ties and all our mounts back in place. Running up to where, again, this bend's a little tricky, but it's a line that should be bendable. So just be mindful of any sharp edges, of course, and don't put a kink in the hose.